Well, today I'm making a Hasselback style tenderloin stuffed with apple and potato with an apple stuffing on the side. Let's get into the recipe. But first, don't forget to subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified when I create a new video. Like and share this video, it really helps out the channel. Now let's get into the recipe. First thing I'm going to do is wipe down this pork tenderloin a little bit with some paper towels just to get it nice and dry. The next part is I'm just going to use a little bit of mayonnaise, some mustard and honey to give it some moisture for the dry rub. So I'm just going to mix this up, and it's about a tablespoon of mayo, half a tablespoon of regular yellow mustard, and about a half a tablespoon of regular honey, some organic honey. And we're just going to brush it on light, not too heavy. Again, just enough to get the a little bit of flavor and also to get the dry rub to stick to it. I'm going to turn it over. Get some more. This will give it a little sweetness, a little bit of spice from the mustard, and the mayo will give it a little creaminess too, and some seasoning that's in the mayo. All right, so I'm just going to put this aside for a second here so I can get the dry rub going. And in the dry rub, I've got about a tablespoon of garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, parsley, and Italian seasoning. To that, I'm going to add some crushed black pepper, maybe about half a teaspoon, a few pinches of salt, maybe a teaspoon's worth, and I'm just going to mix that around like that, just to get all the flavors going. And a little trick I'm going to use here is I've got parchment paper on my cutting board about the length of the pork tenderloin. I'm just going to sprinkle some of this dry rub on the board, on the paper itself. I'm going to take the pork tenderloin and just roll it into the rub, and then just roll it back and forth so we get the flavors in there. I'm just going to cut some slits into it, and with Hasselback you don't want to go all the way down. I'm going to cut maybe 1-inch slits, 1-inch pieces, but they're not all the way down, maybe 3/4 of the way down, just to leave maybe a 1/4 inch or so to the bottom. So just going to slice that, as many pieces as I can get out of this. Slice up the potato and apple to about 1/8 slices. And the remaining apple I'm going to cube up for the stuffing. All right, so I've got the apples and the potatoes sliced now. So I'm gonna hit them with a little bit of seasoning to begin with. So gives us a good starting point for more flavor. So, and add some more seasoning in the middle. I'm gonna take a slice of apple and a slice of potato, and we're gonna stuff it right in there. One of each in each slit. Let's add a little bit more to the top in case we may have wiped some off as we're adding these pieces in here. All right, so now the reason for the paper here is so we can wrap it. So I just tucked it in underneath the cutting board just so it wouldn't roll up on me. And wrap it like this, nice and tight. And like this. That way you can also press it nice and tight like this. Lay it flat. Okay, I want to make sure that the apples and the potatoes are on the upside, on the top. I'm going to get that into the air fry oven now, and we're going to start baking about 350 degrees until the pork comes to a temperature about 140 degrees. It'll continue to cook while I'm prepping the stuffing. My first calendar for the 2023 year. If you're interested, I'll leave a link down below. Go ahead and show your support. We appreciate it. Thanks again. Probably about a tablespoon of butter on here so we can saute some of the vegetables. Get the onions and the celery, a little black pepper, some salt. And basically we just want to soften these. We don't want to overcook them. Just nice and soft, translucent is fine. So I'm going to get a couple of cloves of garlic minced in there too. Okay, now I'm also going to get the pecans in there just so they start roasting a little bit. Some bacon and diced apples. So we can start cooking those down a little bit so they can release the flavors and the sugars. Keep cooking until the apples get a little softer. Everything's kind of softened right now, so the apples are cooked. Celery is softened. I'm going to add about a cup and a half's worth of broth. You can use chicken, vegetable. All right, so I'm going to bring this up to temperature until it simmers. So bring it to a simmer and then turn off the heat. Let it cool for a little bit before we get it into the breading. I'm going to turn off the heat and we're going to get it into our breading. Just going to pour that in. Get it, all that goodness in there. Give that a toss. The bread will absorb all that liquid, give you a nice stuffing, which you can also bake. If you don't want it as a stuffing, you can bake it into kind of a bread once it comes together. And then just put it aside and let it cool until your pork loin is done. So I've taken the pork tenderloin out, let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes just to kind of reabsorb some of the juices. The pork tenderloin got to about 165 degrees, so it continues to cook to that 170 well done stage. If you like it less, take it out about 5 degrees earlier. You should be fine. So let's take a look at this thing. Now there's going to be juices in here, so we want to try to save those. You can take a look at this thing. Looks fantastic. Look at that, nice. So we're going to try to save some of these juices. So I'm just going to pour these out into a bowl. Okay, I think that's most of it. So the parchment paper allowed us to retain the juices. It also kept the seasoning from falling off. All right, let's pull it off, get it onto a platter, like that. I threw the rest of the potatoes just on the tray, just to toast up a little bit. We're going to add them here too. We're going to get our stuffing, our apple stuffing here. So just want to fluff it up a little bit here. And I'm just going to spoon some of this right beside it, like that. So the potatoes, you can just put the potatoes right on it if you have extras, just to kind of make it look nice. Now we're going to take some of this au jus, this pork loin au jus. Just pour that nicely over. It's a nice flavor. You get the apple flavoring, get all that seasoning, all the spices. Here's my Hasselback pork tenderloin stuffed with potato and apple with some apple stuffing on the side. Just going to cut a piece right here. I'm going to take this piece right here. Okay, we take a look at that. Nice and juicy. Get that stuffing on here. Look at that, huh? Nice, fully cooked. Some more of this au jus, this pork au jus sauce on here. All right, that's cut in. Give it a taste. Now I know the stuffing is really good because I did taste it prior to me plating it. Get the sweet apple, a little bit of the bacon, the crunchiness of the pecans. Really good. So I'm going to cut into this pork tenderloin, get some of this au jus. Really tender. Almost breaks up in your mouth as you're eating it. Again, remember, after you're done cooking, get it to about 165, 160. If you go higher than that, it's well done. Let it sit so it reabsorbs the juices and it comes out a little bit more juicier. So this is fantastic. You guys got to give this a try. So let me know if you like this recipe. Give me some thumbs up, some shares, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, hit that bell icon so you get notified. Check out that video right there. I'm sure you'll like it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.